I don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority, honestly.
Who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?
Peace, family. We are so happy to be here, to finally get here.
Yes, peace, family. Peace, happy family.
Yeah, so let's first just apologize for the delay. We had to, this is like a new interface, and we had to try to work some stuff out. But we have it worked out like 95%. You'll see when we bring on our the Black History Man. Okay,
you're gonna notice that it was well worth the wait. Trust me.
Absolutely. All right, family. So first, we just want to just go over just some quickly some of our announcements. Number one, thank you for everyone who supported us in looking at the show with when we paid homage to Baba Haru. Look forward to know that they're going to have some type of memorial service in New York. Jabari Ozazi is sort of in charge of that. And so as soon as we know, we're going to make sure you guys know. But the only way you can know is if you are set up, with our newsletter, because we'll send out an email to let everyone know, especially if they're in the New York area, if they want to come out to support. All right.
If you want to stay updated with all the events that we got coming up, whether it's our pilgrimages, future podcasts, conferences, just go to happyfilm.com, right? And click on Get Connected. And then you can sign up for our newsletter there.
Yep. And also, so sorry, family. I actually made notes for us. Okay, subscribe. So listen, family, we know that you guys, a lot of you guys just like watch us, like if we just kind of pop up on your timeline, but we actually need for you to subscribe to the channel and also hit the notifications button. And so when you hit the notifications button, a lot of you guys are subscribed, but actually hitting the notifications buttons sends you an email, or it alerts like your phone or your laptop as to when we're actually going live. And if it's not doing that, it's probably because you just didn't hit the notifications button. So we know that most of you guys are subscribed, but we just make sure that you hit the notifications button. And also, check out, we're on every platform, and it's Happy Film at Twitter. Not Twitter. What are we calling it now? X. So it's Happy Film on X, Happy Film on our Facebook page, and Happy Film on Instagram. Okay. So make sure, family, make sure that you are subscribed. And also, we're so close to 40K on YouTube. So, help a family out and make sure that you are subscribed to us.
And not only our YouTube and our Facebook and Instagram, where we have the podcast, but you can also, we need your support on our Happy documentary as well. That streams on Tubi and Prime Video. So go on Tubi and Happy and Prime Video and check us out there as well. Yep.
And listen, if you guys are used to looking at Tubi, where you can see the people in the mirror, you can see the boom mic. No. Okay, so HAPI, we actually put dough into making HAPI. So HAPI is not that type of film, but it is on Tubi. So family, please support. And also just one little thing about the newsletter. So even if you're subscribed to the newsletter, we actually need for you to open the newsletter, because we can see exactly every person that opens it. There's a lot of good information, but if we're not taking advantage of it, then we're just not going to be able to sustain it. So family, please open the newsletter, and it's written very well for all ages. One of the things I do is, I make my kids open it, and we have conversations about almost every article up in the newsletter. Okay, it's very important that we, support people who are bringing information.
And you could actually sign up for it right now. You could just open up another browser.
Yeah.
Just go over there and sign up for it, and still have us up on the screen.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right.
And we have a clearance sale too going on as well, right?
Yes. Okay. So we both, and see, this is the thing. We don't even we never say that we're going to like you wear this, you wear that. But see, Hassan, even though he's new to the platform, he showed up in his HAPI gear, and I have mine on too. We have this is the new HAPI, and he has old school HAPI. Listen, if you ordered anything from us, everything will be going out on Monday morning. So there it is. But the clearance sale, listen, it's time, because when we bring out new stuff, this stuff will be vintage, and it might be like a little higher price because it's vintage. So if I were you, I would take advantage of take advantage of the sale. All right, 40K. There we go. All right.
So now we don't want to hold you guys up any longer. We want to introduce our esteemed elder scholar, and we'll let him explain everything that he's done, so that way we can get this rolling. So introducing Brother Robin Walker from the UK, the Black History Man.
Yay, Black History Man.
Greetings, everybody.
Yay. And you know what? I love Black History Man. Like, I think that it's because you are literally, even Professor Small called you the Black History Man. Like, that's what's up. That's cool.
That's positive. That's very, very positive.
Yes.
So brother Robin Walker, please give the people a little bit about yourself.
I run a business called The Black Secret, and our job is to pass on Black history information, teach people what they need to know about their ancient, their medieval, and their modern heritage, and also teach people entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And you know what, family, let me just add, the last time that Black History Man was here, he literally gave us like a link, and I don't know if you guys signed up, but let me tell you, you've got to sign up, because it's not just him doing this. He has like a straight up team. Okay. And teams need to be paid at the end of the day. And this is knowledge. And when you go onto the website, there are so many different classes, and the classes aren't just like 2 minutes. They're like an hour and a half. Like, this is real extensive, top scholarly information, family. And for the price, you cannot beat the price of this every month. It just comes out your account. You don't even know, but you have access to this. So you can sit yourself down, you can sit your kids down with you, and you can sit elders down with you to look at this information, and there's resources. So, there's no need for anybody in the year 2025 to say, I don't know about my history. They didn't teach me. Listen, we have straight scholars that are teaching us. And he's built a whole platform to make this happen. It's dope. So, family, please, I'm going to get the link. I'm going to put it in the chat. And listen, you thank us later, because it's really it's a very good platform.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And it's also Black History Month in the UK right now, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, that's something new.
October.
Yeah. So yeah, family. All right. Okay. You ready to get started?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
All right. So, greetings, everybody. The presentation is called Black People in the History of Asia. So why are we here? This is an opportunity to spread more Black history information, show the kind of information we teach at the Black Secret, and also to support HAPI Talks and make sure that people in HAPI get quality information that they can use and share with the community. You have entrusted me with your education for perhaps the next 1.5 hours. I'll make sure that you get value. I won't be wasting anybody's time. So let's get into it. What's in it for you? you will learn empowering information on Black or African history, detailed content that will expand your mind, and ideas and concepts that will increase your personal effectiveness as you triumph through life. Some people are wondering, who the heck is Robin Walker? Well, I'm known as the Black History Man. I'm the author of a book called When We Ruled, and what I do for a living is I teach Black history and Black studies. I'm also a member of the African Union group, CEDO, which means Citizens and Diaspora Organization. One of my teams are revolutionizing adult Pan-African education. Our team is called the Black Secret Education Project. And the Black Secret Education Project, we are putting Black history online. The Black Secret is a fundamental empowerment concept where we are quietly empowering the people. There we are, https://www.theblacksecret.co.uk. And we are giving away a free book showing our new concept of Black history and African heritage. The book is called 100 Black History Facts. We are giving that away. Check us out. Click on theblacksecret.co.uk, get your free book. Now, what do I usually talk about? I usually focus strictly on the history of the African continent so that we can build pride in that African heritage. And you can see here 2 indigenous African writing systems. On the left-hand side, you can see writing from what is today called Cameroon. The civilization is the Bamoun Kingdom. Admit it, you've never seen that writing script before. And on the right-hand side, you've got the Igbo writing system, Insibidi, as it appears in one of the European journals. Insibidi is the same writing system. You've all seen the film Wakanda, you've all seen the film Black Panther. That is the writing system that that ancient civilization used. I usually talk about medieval African civilizations as well. You can see on the left-hand side, Great Zimbabwe. On the right-hand side, the Great Mosque of Djenné, both medieval examples of architecture, showing essentially how we used to step as Africans in medieval times. And this is from the ancient Sudan. This is from Sudan at least 3,500 years ago, 1,500 BC. That is how the Sudanese were going on. Now, today is very, very different. We're going to leave the African continent and we're going to leave to look at Black people in the history of Asia. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. What history? By the way, you have to admit that's a very, very good graphic right there, isn't it? What history? Well, let me flag up 2 individuals. The person in the military uniform on the left, his name is Bertram Thomas, and he was an Englishman who ended up as the Prime Minister of Muscat and Oman, Prime Minister of one of the Arab countries. And then next to him, you have Sir Arthur Keith in the suit, and he is the greatest physical anthropologist in Britain of the 20th century. Now, why are these 2 people important? Well, Bertram Thomas wrote a book called The Arabs, the life story of a people who have left their deep impress on the world. And then you've got Bertram Thomas dressed in Arab garb, and then his qualifications and so on and so forth. Now, in that book, if we turn to page 338, 339, I've blown up a passage in the book, and let's read what it says. The original inhabitants of Arabia then, according to Sir Arthur Keith, one of the world's greatest living anthropologists, was made a study of Arab skeletal remains, ancient and modern, were not the familiar Arabs of our own time, but a very much darker people. A proto-Negroid belt of mankind stretched across the ancient world from Africa to Malaya. This belt, by environmental and other evolutionary processes, became in parts transformed, giving rise to the Hamitic peoples of Africa, to the Dravidian peoples of India, and to an intermediate dark people inhabiting the Arabian Peninsula. In the course of time, two big migrations of fair-skinned peoples came from the north. One of them, the Mongoloids, to break through and transform the dark belt of man beyond India. The other, the Caucasoids, to drive a wedge between India and Africa. So what have we just learned? According to Sir Arthur Keith, the greatest British physical anthropologist, at one time, everybody between Africa and Malaya used to be black. Everybody. And some of these black people transformed into the Hamitic peoples of Africa. Those are your people from Ethiopia and Somalia, narrow-featured, that type of thing. Some of them transformed into the Dravidian peoples of India. Those are your Australoid-looking black people. And some turned into the dark people of the Arabian Peninsula. But these dark people are not the Arabs of today, much darker. And so essentially, everybody between Africa and Malaya was at one time black. And why that's not the case now is because of the Mongoloids moving south. Those are your Chinese, Japanese, Koreans. And your Caucasoids moving south. Those are your Arabs, your Persians, and so on. Had those two movements of light-skinned people not happened, the people between Africa and Malaya today would all be black. That's essentially the evidence being presented by Sir Arthur Keith. So where was this? You can see our map, where essentially from Africa to the Malay region, everybody, which would be the ancient civilizations of Phoenicia, the ancient civilization of Sumer, the ancient civilization of Elam, the ancient civilization of the Indus Valley, the ancient civilizations all the way across to the Malay Peninsula, all of those people, if we go back far enough in time, used to be black. Now, an important authority provided images of the black presence, and that important authority was actually someone that I knew quite well, the legendary, the late Dr. Runoko Rashidi. His book was called African Star Over Asia, and it has images such as an Aboriginal person from India, the very first inhabitants of India. Now, did we know that the original inhabitants of India would have looked like this gentleman? Did we know this? Then you've got Aboriginal populations of Arabia. You can see the left-hand person looks almost like an Australian Aborigine, and the right-hand person has got the short, tightly curled hair of what we would expect from modern African populations. These represent the oldest populations in Arabia. Then we have here two images. One of them is taken from a book called Lost Cities of Arabia and Africa by David Hatcher Childress. And the caption says, "Strange Negroid head cut into the rock at one structure. The only figure represented anywhere. Is he representative of the inhabitants? Nabateans are supposed to be Semites of the desert," he says. And then when we blow that image up, can you see the broadest nose, the thickest lips? That is the evidence of who the Nabateans were in Arabia. This image, doesn't it look Nile Valley? Do people think that looks Nile Valley? That's not Nile Valley. That is Phoenicia. Phoenicia is where the Israel stroke Palestine stroke Lebanon, that's where they were. And you can see that my man looks just like an ancient Egyptian, just like an ancient Sudanese. He's even dressed appropriately. He's even got his name in hieroglyphics. That is from the Middle East, that disputed territory right now. Well, those are your original inhabitants in that disputed territory. Then we have the people of Judea to the south. This is from the city of Lachish. And you can see some very interesting hair. You can see some very interesting beards, some very interesting looking broad, flat noses. Those are your Judeans depicted. Then we have the Indus Valley. The Indus Valley is where Pakistan is today and where India is today. And that is the most famous statuette coming from the Pakistan-India region. Are we feeling that statuette? Felicia, are you feeling that?
I'm feeling that.
Feeling it. And as Dr. Rashidi used to say, black woman with her hand on her hip. Yeah, there it is.
Yes. Look at that.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Then we have images from Vietnam. Are we enjoying those faces? Are we enjoying that hair? Clearly, nobody in Vietnam looks like that now. Nobody in Vietnam has hair like that now. And this, of course, is an image of the Holy One from that part of the world, actually from India, and then spread to Sri Lanka and so on, the Buddha. And then that raises questions of the origins of religion in the Asian worlds, and where do these things start, and so on, all kinds of questions. And here we've got another image of the Buddha. Are we enjoying that hair?
Wow.
We enjoying that mouth? Again, shout out to the late Dr. Runoko Rashidi. It was him that took this photograph. And it was him that edited the volume, African Presence in Early Asia, where these images first appeared. So these images appeared in the 1990s, I believe. People enjoying those images?
Yeah, everybody, I'm looking in the chats. They're enjoying it.
Right now, I'm from London, as you know. The most famous Bangladesh is right next to India. The most famous Bangladeshi woman, there she is. What happened was there was a TV program called The Great British Bake Off, and she won that program. Now, you can see that she's, she's from Bangladesh, but if I said that she was from East Africa, who would disagree with me? If I presented that face and said, yeah, she could fit into the East African population, I think she could pass. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But she's actually Bangladeshi. Yeah. Mm. All right. So our focus today, the focus where I want to sharpen the argument, I'm going to talk about Black people in the ancient history of Iran. All right. Now, in the Iran region, there was a civilization called Elam. And Elam was an ancient federal state located in modern-day Iran. And its history is very, very long, almost as old as the oldest civilization in Asia, the Sumerians. So the Sumerians go back to around 3,300 BC. The Elamites go back to around 3,150 BC. Elam's great cities were Awan, Simashki, and Susa, the capital. Susa is one of the names that people use to describe the Elamites. They call them Susians. So if you see the word Susian, it roughly means Elamite. Now, the federation included Susiana, consisting of meadows and farmlands, and also Anshan, the high valleys and mountain chains. But the Elamites called their country Haltamti, which means land of the Lord or land of God. Now, isn't that interesting? Isn't that very similar to what the ancient Egyptians called the Sudan.
Yep.
They also called it Land of God, Ta Neta. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? And just like the Sumerians, the Elamites wrote in the cuneiform script. I'm going to show you cuneiform later on in the presentation. So this is a literate ancient civilization. And one of their great monuments from 3,500 years ago is still around. It's called the Choga Zambil Ziggurat. And I'm going to show you that monument later on. All right, so where was Elam? You can see the ancient civilizations of the region: Phoenicia, Arabia Felix, Sumer, Elam, and the Indus Valley. And all of those civilizations have a very important Black presence. But my focus today is on one of them. I'm just going to focus on one, and that is Elam. Elam is where modern day Iran is. Now, this is from the Louvre Museum, and this is Elamite art from 1800 BC. Now, doesn't that look like East Africa?
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, I have to shout out the legendary Runoko Rashidi. He is the one that presented this data. Okay, now, are there important artistic depictions of Elamites by other people? So we're not just getting what the Elamites are saying about themselves. What do other people depict? Well, the Assyrians were a near-white Semitic people who became dominant on the world stage around 700 BC. And they left behind important depictions of their Near Eastern and African enemies: the Elamites, the Egyptians, the Kushites, and the Judeans. The Assyrians, this is where Syria is today. And an English scholar of the 19th century, Professor George Rawlinson, recognized the important scholarly value of this art because it preserves an ethnological picture of the Near East and Northeastern Africa as it was seen in the early first millennium BC by Africa's enemies, by Black Middle Easterners' enemies, the Assyrians. Now, do other scholars agree on the importance of this art? Well, I came across a book called The Negro in the New World by Sir Harry H. Johnston. And in that book, if we get to the right page, it says, the Elamites of Mesopotamia appear to have been a Negroid people with kinky hair and to have transmitted this racial type to the Jews and Syrians. There is a curliness of the hair, together with a Negro eye and full lips in the portraiture of Assyria, which conveys the idea of an evident Negro element in Babylonia. So, according to Sir Harry H. Johnston, clearly the Elamites are Africans or Black people or Negroes, because that's what they appear to be in the art of the Assyrians. Now let's go back to Professor George Rawlinson. He is the Camden Professor of Ancient History at the University of Oxford. His book came out in 1871. Let's take a look. He says, in Susiana, now you should know where Susiana is. Susa, the capital city of Elam. In Susiana, where the Kushite blood was maintained in tolerable purity, Elamians and Kissians existed side by side instead of blending together. There was, if we may trust the Assyrian remains, a very decided prevalency of a Negro type of countenance, as the accompanying specimens carefully copied from the sculptures will render evident. So the person on the left is an Elamite. The person on the right is a Kushite. Now, can you see the Elamite has very strong prognathism? The jaw is very far forward. Can you see the nose is very flat? The lips are full. And he's wearing a bandana. Now, doesn't that bandana, isn't that reminiscent of some Bloods or some Crips or something? This is what's going on 2,000 odd years ago. Are we enjoying this?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And those are the original images from Assyrian art. Now, I can't tell, perhaps you can give me your opinions. Do you think those are plaits or do you think those are funky dreads? Which one?
They're like locks.
You think it's funky dreads, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can see they're wearing bandanas.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that interesting? So those are your Elamites depicted in Assyrian art. So what are the scholars saying? A Russian scholar called Igor Diakonov wrote an essay called Elam in the Cambridge History of Iran. And this is what he says. There are some grounds for believing that the Elamites, at least in the lowlands, were dark-skinned, and their language seems to have been related to Proto-Dravidian, the ancestor of the Dravidian languages. So what does Diakonov mean by dark-skinned? How dark is dark? What does he mean by Proto-Dravidian? Meaning the very first inhabitants of India/Pakistan. Did I show an image of a black woman with her hand on her hip?
Yes.
Those Proto-Dravidians. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So according to Diakonov, the Elamites were dark-skinned, but he's not prepared to tell us how dark. And their languages are related to the languages spoken by the Proto-Dravidian population of Pakistan and India. The same scholar showed how he came to draw his conclusion. He says, some of the Elamite warriors are represented as dark-skinned on the Achaemenian glazed tile reliefs of the 5th century BC, and the rather dark-skinned anthropological type can be encountered in southern Khuzestan to the present day. So again, he's using this term dark, 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 dark. Now, why is he using the term? You could imagine what he doesn't want to actually say. Do you see?
Yeah.
Now, before 1985, when the Cambridge book came out, scholars were less bashful in describing these dark-skinned anthropological types. Professor Roland B. Dixon of Harvard University wrote a book called The Racial History of Man, and that came out in 1923. And as you shall see, he's not bashful in describing that same dark population. This is what he says. In the vicinity of Susa, in the lowland on the borders of the Mesopotamian plain, and southward along the coast in Arabistan and Fars, a rather well-marked Negroid factor is observable. These people are said to be shorter than the average Persian and to have thick lips and broad noses. So, Negroid, thick lips, broad noses. Why didn't my man just say that? Why did he say rather dark?
Yeah.
You can work out what he was trying not to say. Similarly, before 1985, scholars were less bashful in describing these dark-skinned warriors. I came across a book. No, I didn't. My colleague, Fari Supia, came across a book called Publications of the Field Museum of Natural History. And this is what my colleague, Fari Supia, found. This is a quote from Brigadier General Percy Sykes. And Brigadier General Sykes says, Monsieur de la Foix, who discovered the famous frieze of the Black Archers at Susa, which dates from the time of the Achaemenian dynasty, mentions the existence of Negroid skulls in the necropolis of the Memnonium, which confirm the classic writers. So notice how Brigadier General Sykes describes it. He doesn't say dark-skinned warriors. He says black archers. Yes? Then he says, Monsieur Dieulafoy didn't just find black archers, he found Negroid skulls, and this proves what the classical writers had to say about a black population being the population of Elam. Are we feeling this?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so can we see these Achaemenian glazed tile reliefs? You enjoying those images?
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
And not only that, get a load of their hair. Are we feeling that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the images that Diakonov tries to dance around and present as dark skins. No, bro, that's not what you should be describing.
Exactly.
Are we feeling these?
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's nice.
Is that Sumerian?
Again, these are all Elamite.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, Egyptologists in the house. Can you see a powerful symbol above these two royals? Recognize that symbol?
At the top,
What's it doing in Iran?
What's it doing in Iran? Wow.
We feeling that?
What time frame is that?
Absolutely.
This is 500 and something BC. Interesting. All right, now bringing the story a little bit more up to date. A 1996 AJPA paper, AJPA, American Journal of Physical Anthropology, published an article by a Japanese professor called Sunehiko Harihara. And his article is called Comparison of Craniofacial Features of Major Human Groups. Now, for those of you who are not scholars, whenever people present scholarly articles, the first thing they do is present a summary, and that summary is called an abstract. So we're going to read a little bit of the abstract where Professor Harihara is summarizing his findings, and there's a bit that I've underlined. He says, early West Asians resemble Africans. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that's a wow?
Yes.
Don't you think that's a wow? Early West Asians. What he means by West Asians are people from Iran. His samples came from Iran in the Bronze Age all the way up to the Islamic period, where he concludes that their faces are pretty similar to West African faces. In other words, broad features, broad noses, full lips, high cheekbones. Those are the samples he studied from Iran. Are we enjoying this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now let's bring the evidence together. Dr. Charles Finch, one of African America's great researchers, gave a concise statement on the true scientific position on the Elamites. He says, about the race of the Elamites, there has not been the slightest doubt since 1892, when Dieulafoy discovered the Acropolis of Susa, whose walls displayed numerous reliefs depicting a highly civilized, unmistakably black-skinned, woolly-haired populace. So if Dr. Finch is right, and there hasn't been the slightest doubt since 1892, I raise the question, why isn't Elam common knowledge?
Mm-hmm.
Here we have a civilization that had writing. Here we had a civilization that had monuments. Here we can identify the descendants of the Elamites, and their descendants are, to quote Roland B. Dixon, Negroids. Why is no one talking about this?
Yeah.
And more importantly, how were they able to sit on this evidence since 1892? Powerful questions, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I tracked down Marcel Dieulafoy's book, L'Acropole de Sousa, and it's his digs in Iran, and I found some interesting information. So this is what I found. Right, can you see that these are white palace guards?
Yes.
And then when you look at the bottom, it says Persian immortals. Now, what's happened is this, certainly my pictures cut off the bottom, but it does actually say Persian immortals, making it quite clear those are your Persians. And then we turn over another page, and then it says Elamite immortals. So no one can confuse that population with this population. Are we feeling this?
Yeah.
Now, what have scholars claimed more recently? There's a scholar, Professor Václav Blažek, and he is from the Czech Republic, where he's at Masaryk University. He's a linguist, and he's been working on Elamite, and these are his conclusions. An article appeared written by a linguist in this country, Dr. Roger Blench, and the article is called Afro-Asiatic and Nilo-Saharan Classification. And let's read what the article has to say. We turn over the page, and it says, Blažek has proposed that Elamite, an extinct language of the ancient Near East, either constitutes a seventh branch of Afro-Asiatic or is coordinate with it. Okay, now that needs to be explained. What is Afro-Asiatic? Despite the name Asiatic, there is nothing Asian about it. It's an African language family. It originated somewhere around where Ethiopia is today. One theory says the northern part of Ethiopia. A second theory says the southern part of Ethiopia, where Ethiopia touches Kenya. A third theory says South Sudan. So in that region is where this language family originated. And one branch of the family is Chadic, which is Hausa. A second branch of the family is ancient Egyptian, or Kemetic. Another part of the family is Berber, which is what's spoken by the desert Africans. Another branch of it is Semitic. Another branch of it is Cushitic, which is what's spoken by the Somalis. And another branch of it is Omotic, which is what's spoken in Ethiopia. And another branch of it, if Blažek is correct, is Elamite. Now, so what? Let me tell you what the so what is. If he's right, the Elamites aren't just black people. They are actually of East African origin. Do we understand the difference?
Yes.
Yeah. You can say that, if we take, for example, your Australian Aborigines, yeah, they're black people. Yep, they're brothers, but they are not of recent East African origins. They're of prehistoric origins going back 70,000 years. If Elamite is a branch of Afro-Asiatic, then that does make them very recent African origins, just as African as your ancient Egyptians, just as African as your Hausas. Do you see?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if Blažek is right, that is where we're going with it. So who tried to popularize the Elamite data? We have to shout out the legendary Professor William Leo Hansberry of Howard University. He wrote, the ancient Dravidians of India and the early populations of Persia and the southern Mesopotamian area seem also to have belonged to a black-skinned, wide-nosed and woolly-haired race. According to Sir Arthur Keith's report on the Mount Carmel excavations to the Royal College of Surgeons, the same seems to have been the case in the Palestinian area from very ancient times. Think that's a mic drop moment?
Absolutely.
I think that's a mic drop moment.
Absolutely.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, Professor William Leo Hansberry is the father of African studies. And he's also a teacher and mentor to the legendary Professor Chancellor James Williams.
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't just Professor Hansberry. We also have the legendary Drusilla Dunjee Houston. And she wrote the classic book, Wonderful Ethiopians of the Ancient Kushite Empire in 1926, where she wrote, the Iranian legend said that the whole region of ancient Persia to India was inhabited by a race of black men with short, woolly hair. Drusilla Houston is our pioneering scholar dealing with Middle Eastern antiquities, the first solid book dealing with Middle Eastern history. And then other scholars went there too. Professor W.E.B. Du Bois, The World and Africa, where he talks about the blackness of the Elamites on 181, page 182. Ghanaian scholar Professor John Coleman de Graaf Johnson, African Glory, also talks about the blackness of the Elamites. J.A. Rogers, Jamaican scholar, 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro, also talks about the blackness of the ancient Elamites. And of course, the legendary Dr. Runoko Rashidi, African Presence in Early Asia, talks about, again, the blackness of the ancient Elamites. All right, so stretch time. That means that you're listening. You need to get up and stretch, get up and walk around, get it together, because by the time I get back, we're going to be dropping some more knowledge. All right, so should I give it 30 seconds?
Yep. You know, I can do a little commercial. A little quick commercial right there. Family, make sure you are liking and sharing this presentation. This is fire. Make sure, listen, Jabari Ozazi said do things in threes. So you have to make sure that you're looking at it and you got to send it to 3 more people so they can check this out. Okay, family. And also I've put the link for because you can see this is just a taste of what you get if you go ahead and subscribe to the Black Secret. Okay, I put the link in the chat. I'm going to keep putting it in the chat. Make sure you sign up. I've seen a couple of you already got your free book. That's what's up. And also, family, if you are liking this, make sure you hit us on the Cash app. That's important because, like with the Black History Man, none of this is free. We all have bills to pay when it comes to bringing this knowledge to you. So family, please support. And you support by going to the Black Secret and subscribing. Okay. It's important to subscribe, family. This is low hanging fruit. Come on. Subscribe to the Black Secret and hit us up on the Cash app or Super Chat. All right. It's all yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So what do we know about Elam? Let's talk about the power structure. The highest authority in the Federation was the king, and his title was King of Anshan and Susa. And the king exercised power over a whole host of vassal princes. As well as the king, there was a viceroy who took the title Regent of Elam and Simashki, who was the younger brother of the king and also his successor. Next was the ruler of Susiana, the prince of Susa, the capital city, who was the eldest son of the king. Now, the Elamites faced aggression from the people next door to them, and next door was Mesopotamia. Meso is a Greek word meaning between. Potam is the Greek word meaning rivers. And Ia is the Indo-European suffix we use in English. So Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers. Which rivers? The Tigris and the Euphrates. On a modern map, that's where Iraq is today. That's where Syria is today. So the oldest information we have on Elam dates back to approximately 3150 BC, when Sumerian king Enmabaragesi of the first dynasty of Kish carried off its weapons as booty. So Elam is raided by the Sumerians, who carry off their weapons. So that's the Elamites mentioned in history. Elam had to continually defend itself against Mesopotamia, who envied its resources, only to be found in the Elamite mountains. Resources such as timber, stone, iron, and horses. Elam did, however, take an aggressive position from time to time. The Sumerian kings list informs us that probably between 3100 and 3050 BC, the city of Ur was struck with weapons and its kingship transferred to Awan, meaning the Elamites of Awan had conquered the Sumerian city of Ur. Elam faced aggression from Mesopotamia between 3150 BC and 646 BC, 2,500 years of aggression. Now, your very first Mesopotamians were your Sumerians. Your Sumerians were actually black people. Now, and it does show that you need to know that, yes, black nations used to fight each other as well. Then there was the Akkadians, who were a bit lighter, the Babylonians, who were lighter still, and your Assyrians, who come last. So they're not, these civilizations don't exist at the same time. They're in the same area, but the Sumerians are first, then Akkad, then Babylon, then Assyria. And not only did Elam face problems from these people, they also faced aggression from the Guti or the Gutians. And these were definitely Caucasian hordes. Yeah. And oh, you'll like this. The Sumerians say about the Guti, they call them the Martu who eat raw meat. And you know that right now in European culture, there's this whole thing about eating meat rare. You know, rare is just a posh way of saying raw, right? So right. Okay, so where was the Mesopotamian threat? You can see the two rivers depicted on the map. And in the south was Sumer. Further north would be Akkad. Further north would be Assyria. In the south, when Sumer collapses, is Babylon. So those are your two rivers. And this was a constant source of threat to the Elamites. And they would battle each other and battle each other and battle each other. By the way, Elamites do appear in Sumerian art. Now, can you see that the Sumerians, there are 4 Sumerians depicted and 1 Elamite. The Elamite is on the far left, and we know he's an Elamite because he's wearing a bandana. And can you see that he's got either the plaits or the funky dreads, one of the two? Can you see the Elamite on the far left?
Yep.
All right, and then the other 4, scholars are not entirely sure, but the smart money seems to say that the other 4 are Sumerians. Now, did we know the Sumerians had hair like that?
Yeah.
Did we know that?
Yeah.
Aren't you glad you're here? Because nobody talks about this stuff. When the Sumerians are usually shown in European history books, they are usually shown with their heads shaven. Now, can you see the 4th person along has got the shaven head? And if you just saw the shaven head, that's not saying anything.
Yeah.
But if you look at the others with the hair is saying plenty.
Yeah, saying everything.
Right. Elam had writing. Consequently, Elam had a written history. This is a slab of Elamite writing, and this writing system is called cuneiform. And cuneiform is a writing system that originated in Sumer, next door, but the Elamites used it. Later on, the Persians used it, the Akkadians used it, the Babylonians used it. So essentially one script that has gone around the Middle East. And so when people talk about, and you black people have never produced a real civilization with writing, just slap them up with this. Just slap them up with this. Okay, now because Elam had writing, we can talk intelligently about the rise and fall of 5 Elamite dynasties. The dynasty of Awam, the dynasty of Simashki, the house of Epati, the Iga-Halkids, the Renaissance period, and how Elam actually collapsed. So the dynasty of Awam, during that period, Elam was conquered by the Akkadians and ended up adopting aspects of Akkadian culture. Then we get this dynasty of Simashki. During this period, Elam conquers Sumer and reduced the city of Ur to hills of ruin and places of desolation. We get the house of Epati. During this period, Elam faced off the Babylonians. You get the Iga-Halkid dynasty. This is the golden age. Then you get the reemergence period. This is the final chapter where they faced down the Assyrians, and later on they were conquered by the Aryans or the Persians. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Untash-Napirisha was an Iga-Halkid king. He came to the throne somewhere around 1381 BC as part of the Iga-Halkid dynasty. Under his rule, Elam enjoyed its golden age, and a great monument was built called the Choga Zambil Ziggurat. And that structure had bricks inscribed with curses on them. And the curses read, "He who takes in charge the walls of the sacred precinct, who makes a breach in them, steals the inscribed bricks, burns the door beams, and opens the gate to the approaching foes, may he be struck by the punishing scepter of Humban in Shushinak and Kiriri. May he have no descendants." Humban in Shushinak and Kiririsha, those are deities. So it's like, if you take any of these bricks, may you be cursed by the deities and may you have no descendants under the sun.
Damn.
All right, so let's take a look. No one's feeling it?
No, we feeling it.
Right, the Choga Zambil Ziggurat, the top image is what it looks like now, and the bottom image is what it looks like if it had been fully restored. Now, for those of you interested in Kemetic history, doesn't that look like the step pyramid of Saqqara?
Yes, it does.
Yep.
Interesting. Now I'm going to show you some more images.
Wow, this is wow.
Right, we enjoying that brickwork?
Yeah, this is amazing.
So can you see then that the silence on the Elamites is outrageous? If a culture has got this much to show, why isn't anyone talking about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you one more image.
Wow.
Now, for those of you that have studied architecture, the main thing here is, can you see the round arch?
Yes.
Above the staircase? Now, anyone that studied architecture knows that the round arch was invented by the ancient Romans. That's what's in the history books, right?
Yeah.
But there's no Romans during this period. Romulus and Remus feeding off the she-wolf, that hadn't happened yet. The city of Rome hadn't been built yet. And we see a round arch. And if we were to trace the round arch back to its origins, the Elamites had the round arch, the ancient Kemetans had the round arch.
Mhm.
Nothing to do with the Romans. Okay, Elam re-emerges in the 9th century BC. The 9th century is 800 and something BC, where there's an inscription where Elam is shown battling their enemies, the Assyrians. Also, they face threats posed by the emerging Medes and Persians. Both of them are Aryan peoples. So your Assyrians are Semitic-speaking peoples. Your Medes and your Persians are Aryan-speaking peoples. In other words, ancestors of the same groups of people who, the people of Germany call themselves Aryans.
Yeah.
There's actually a linguistic connection between the Medes, the Persians, the ancient Germans, and so on. They're brothers. Are we feeling this?
Yep.
And the country, that today, Elam is today called Iran. Iran means land of the Aryan. That's what it means. Yeah? So let me explain how that happened. The Assyrians continued to battle Elam. They launched 2 successful campaigns, one in 647 BC, one in 646 BC. And the conquerors, the Assyrians, wrought awful destruction on the Elamites. The Assyrian king boasted that he opened their treasure houses, where there were piles of silver and gold, of treasure and riches, which he had been amassed by earlier kings of Elam, right up to the most recent. Apart from me, no other conqueror had laid hand upon them. So he's boasting how much gold he's taking from Elam, how much silver he's taking from Elam. Moreover, the Assyrian king boasted of taking treasures of garments, ornaments, royal insignia, and weapons, and all the palace furniture on which the king sat or lay, the bowls which he used for meals, washing and anointing, the chariots of triumph and of war decorated with gold and electron. Chariots, that means the Elamites had the wheel. That's important because, again, one of the things that the alt-rightists have been telling us forever is you black people never had the wheel. Yeah. The horses, the mules, and their gold and silver trappings, all this I took back to Assyria. Horses and mules with gold and silver trappings. Are we feeling this?
Yes, sir.
So what happened to the Elamites? The Assyrian king claimed, in the course of a march which lasted 55 days, I transformed the land into a wilderness. I scattered salt and thistle on its meadows. The wives and daughters of the kings of Elam, of old and new family, the town governors, the commanders, the whole corps of officers, including the engineers, all the inhabitants, whether male or female, old or young, the horses, the mules, the donkeys, the cattle, both large and small, more numerous than a swarm of locusts. All this I dragged back to Assyria. In other words, capturing tons of prisoners and dragging them to the Assyrian capital of Nineveh, where those people were executed. Are we feeling this?
Yeah.
So that's why there's a Syrian art showing the Elamites. That's what's on the walls of the Nineveh palace of the Assyrians being captured. And in a different frieze, there's ones where the Egyptians were captured, the Kushites were captured, the Judeans were captured. This is why we have evidence of what these populations look like, because the Assyrians proudly put their features on the walls of their monuments. Endgame. In 629 BC, the Medes, who are Aryans, had risen to a position of regional dominance. Their king formed an alliance with the king of Babylonia. In 612 BC, they jointly seized Assyria and with it control of Susiana. Susiana, the capital city of the Elamites. In the time of Cyrus II, Persia overthrew Mede supremacy and then defeated Babylonia. Susiana became a Persian possession taken from the Medes and the Persians. Taken from the Medes and the Babylonians. In this way, the whole of Elam was brought under Persian rule in 539 BC. And under Persian rule, the Persians then renamed the country Iran, land of the Aryan, and Indo-European language has dominated that region from then till now, and independent black rule in this region was now over. And the descendants of the Elamites ended up on the outskirts of Susa, and we've already described that. Okay, Dr. Runoko Rashidi, this is what he says. Albeit in a severely diminished capacity after the devastation of Susa, the blacks of Elam remained an important regional factor. Herodotus finds them represented as Persian auxiliaries in the Greco-Persian wars. That's why those black people are on the, the soldiers I showed you?
Yeah.
The archers? That's them. During the same period, southern Baluchistan, extreme eastern Iran, and western Pakistan was known as Gedrosia, the country of the dark folk. In spite of the early and continued incursions of the new peoples in the north and the decisive defeat at the hands of the Assyrians, the ancient Susian Elamites distinguished themselves as a highly advanced and aggressive people who developed their land and defended it from conquest again and again, with a 2,500-year history. Are we feeling this?
Yeah.
Okay, so have you claimed your free book yet? https://www.theblacksecret.co.uk and download your book, 100 Black History Facts. Now, for some of you, that's your opportunity to dip your toe into the kind of history that we do at the Black Secret. But there's more. If you want more, we do have a subscription course. And the course, we have 80 hours worth of content, 55 hours of history content, 25 hours of entrepreneurship content, 80 hours. And you can get that for £35 or $46 per calendar month. But we do have a special offer. If people do quickly, we can offer a 48% discount. And that 40% discount is $23 per calendar month. And so if you jump in, we can lock you in at that price of $23. It won't go up. The classes are all filmed in a London classroom. The classes are all online. So you can watch those classes at your own convenience. If you can only fit in 10 minutes, you can watch 10 minutes, freeze the class and come back. If you want to watch the class over and over and over and over and over, you can do that. You can watch the classes at 6 p.m. You can watch the classes at midnight. And you can start and stop each class at your own convenience. Moreover, you have full access to the lecture notes. And you subscribing, you're not locked in forever. Once you've watched the whole program, you can cut out. You don't have to subscribe. You know that sometimes when people subscribe, you're locked in. You're not locked into anything with us. You can unsubscribe at any time. But yes, jump on it now. We can offer you $23 per calendar month. And that is us, the Black Secret Education Project. We are quietly empowering the people. www.theblacksecret.co.uk, and I'll quite happily take questions.
Let's just first start off there. My.
Very thorough. Very thorough.
Yeah. And like I said, family, this is like a little bit of what you get when you go onto the blacksecret.com. At first, I was going to brag that I got mine at a cheaper price because when he first said it and opened it up, I had signed up, but then you gave everyone a discount. So family, there is no excuse up in here. Like we spend $23 at the Starbucks. If it's you and two kids, you already at $25. So family, come on. And one of the things that all of us are very passionate about, myself, Hassan, and Taki, is this piece of really, when you're saying that I'm pro-Black or Black power, this and that, this is a time you can go past just talking about it, but actually doing something that lays the foundation for us to know our history. This is low-hanging fruit, family. And if you have kids, even if you don't have kids, unless you are the Black History Man and know all this information, y'all need to be signing up, because this is such a good deal. All right.
Definitely. Okay, so before we get into any questions that are in the chat, can you just take us back a little bit and let us know where modern day Elam is located?
Where Iran is today.
Okay, and what time frame would you say? Well, no, where would you say that they migrated from?
Who, the Persians? Which people are you talking about? The Persians or the Elamites?
Elamites.
If the Elamites really are speaking Afro-Asiatic, as the Czech scholar says, then we can be specific. They would have migrated either from Ethiopia on a modern map or Sudan on a modern map.
Got it. And what time frame would that be?
Round about 7,000, 8,000 BC, something like that.
7,000. Okay. So Kush is thriving at this time?
No,
Kush isn't thriving at this time. Okay.
Kush is thriving, but later on. So if we're using the short chronology, what you're calling Kush, I prefer to say Nubia.
Nubia, yes.
Is 3,500 BC.
3,500 BC. Okay.
So it's older than this. It's older than Elam, but not by much.
Got it. Okay. And you said the cuneiform written form starts what time? What time period?
About 3,300 BC.
3,300 BC.
And it starts with the Sumerians. It doesn't start with the Elamites.
Got it. Okay.
And the Sumerians are next door in what is today Iraq.
Okay. So would you say the Sumerians, where would they have migrated from? Same area?
Because we don't know what language they spoke, we can't be sure. Yeah. So Sumerian, some scholars have said that Sumerian is related to Niger-Congo languages. Yeah. So that will be somewhere in Africa, but where in Africa is anyone's guess.
Got it.
With Afro-Asiatic, we can be specific. Somewhere around Ethiopia or Sudan.
Okay, so do we see a lot of similarities in culture with Sumerians and Elamites?
Yes. If you were to look at the culture in terms of the ziggurats, the writing system, they look the same.
Got it.
What's different though is they're not speaking the same language.
Okay. Because I was trying to see if, how you have the Nubians and you have the Kemetics, they have like similar cultures, similar garbs. So I was trying to see if Sumeria and Elamites were doing the same thing.
And they were. The only difference is the signifier of the Elamites is the bandanas and the funky dreads.
Got it. Okay.
Whereas with Kemet and Nubia, the signifier of the Nubians is the band around the head with the feather of Ma'at.
Got it. Okay. Now the Phoenicians. So where would modern day Phoenicia be?
Israel / Palestine / Lebanon.
Israel, Palestine. Okay. Okay, just want to give the audience modern day geography, so everyone can understand it a little bit better, a little bit clearer. Okay, Felicia, you have any questions from the chat?
You know what? It's so funny because Wolfman Lou in the comments had the same questions that had one of the same questions I had. So the Hyksos, like where did they? So after they invaded Egypt, like did they continue to Elam, or like where did they? Like where are they in relationship to the people in Elam?
The Hyksos question is controversial, and everything about it is controversial.
Yeah.
All right, so this is what we know. There was an ancient Jewish scholar called Josephus, and he quotes the ancient Egyptian scholar Manetho, and quotes him as saying that the Hyksos came suddenly from lands of the east and then moved into Egypt from the east. Now, what does that mean? Does it mean from the Middle East? Does it mean from Asia Minor, Western Asia? Or does it mean from the eastern part of the Nile River? There are plenty of scholars who argue that the Hyksos were actually from Africa and not from the Middle East. And the evidence that they came from Africa is we know that the Hyksos were friendly to the Kushites, and there's even letters going between them. So when Egypt or Kemet was under Hyksos rule, the Hyksos were on very good terms with the people of Kush. So why would that be? Well, one theory is because the Hyksos were actually from a different part of Africa. Then you've got the controversy over Hyksos art. Now, I've seen sculptures that are believed to be the Hyksos rulers, and they are definitely Negro. Definitely, and I can show you them if you like. And I can't explain that because the books all claim that the Hyksos came from the Middle East. Yeah. Now, when the Hyksos were kicked out of Kemet, they are said to have fled to the Middle East, where they built the city of Hiroslima. Hiroslima, Jerusalem. And that's why so many scholars connect the Hyksos to Jews. So the whole thing is very messy. No one has been able to put a coherent story together on who the Hyksos were, where they were from, what ethnicity were they. All of that stuff is messy.
So when you say you've seen some depictions of the Hyksos, were they similar depictions like on the Narmer's palette?
Oh no, they're sculptures. They're full-blooded sculptures.
Got it.
Yeah. Narmer's palette is a slab. Yeah. Yes. With images on it. No, these are full-blooded sculptures.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're images. So yeah, there are definitely images thought to be the Hyksos rulers, and they've hardly made it into the history books for obvious reasons, because they're not saying what. Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can find them, and if I can find them, I can pull them up. Yeah.
Yes. And while you're doing that, I have a question about the weapons. As you said, they, when they were invaded, they took their weapons, they took their garments and stuff. What type of weapons did they have back then?
It would have been bows and arrows and that type of thing. Yeah. Yeah, it would be those kinds of weapons. Any other questions? Now's your chance.
That's true. Family, if you have questions, put them in the chat, please.
Yeah, Is there what religion is taking place at this time in Elam?
The worship of deities like Shushinak.
Mm-hmm.
Shushinak is the main one. And these basically they have multiple deities, just like the ancient African civilizations had. Yeah. But there are 3 that appear in the literature. But yeah, they had multiple deities. But there haven't been that many studies into the Elamite religion, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing about Elam has always been, keep it quiet, shut it up. Do you see?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why is the focus more on Sumer than Elam?
Well, why did I concentrate more on Elam?
The Black presence.
Go put that question again.
Why is there more in academia? Why is there more focus on Sumer than there is on Elam?
Because Sumer is first. Sumer is older than Elam. Yeah, okay. It's not older by much. It's about 150 years in it. All right, those are your Hyksos.
Those are the Hyksos.
Right now, can you see that there is absolutely no doubt?
Wow.
That's why the Hyksos don't make it into the books when people are trying to show the Hyksos.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
That wasn't what you expected to see. Go on a minute. That was not what you were expecting to see.
Not at all.
No, that would that's a no there.
No.
Yeah.
Now I see where the Niger Congo thing comes from.
Say that again, sir.
I said now I see where the Niger Congo theory comes from. Wow.
All right, we have there's a question, King Simon, and peace to King Simon. Make sure if you guys need to be signed up for his platform. Let me tell you, this brother does 1,000 shows a day. He got some information. He wanted to know how many times did Kemet get invaded?
So why are we talking about Kemet? All right, Kemet. Loads of times, to be honest. Kemet has, to use the short chronology, 3,000 years of history. In that amount of time, lots and lots of invasions are going to happen. The most obvious ones would be in pre-dynastic times. So it is believed that there were non-Africans amongst the population of Lower Kemet before the time of Pharaoh Narmer or Menes. And he battled them to unify Kemet. Then you had, at the end of the 6th dynasty, when the Old Kingdom is overthrown, there's a document called the Admonitions of Ipuwa, which talks about people from abroad have become Kemites everywhere. And so we can infer that Kemet was overthrown during that period. Then we get the Middle Kingdom. And at the end of the Middle Kingdom, we get the fall of the 12th dynasty. The 13th dynasty rules, but we also get the 14th dynasty. The 14th dynasty are thought to be Asiatics conquering from the Middle East. Then you've got the 15th and the 16th dynasties, who are the Hyksos. And we don't know where the Hyksos are from, but you can see that the sculptures are kind of interesting. And if they were conquerors, we don't know where they conquered from. Then you've got, towards the end of Egypt's history, the 20th dynasty, Ramesses XI, it collapses. And then after that, Egypt is taken over by the Libyans, who at the time were black, and the Sudanese. The Libyans rule as Dynasty 22, 623, the Sudanese rule as dynasty 25. Then Egypt is invaded again with the Assyrians in 660 odd BC, then by the Persians in 525 BC, then by the Greeks in 332 BC, then by the Romans in 30 BC, then by the Vandals in the 5th century AD, and then by the Arabs in 639 AD. And the Arabs today are the ruling population.
Yeah, so shout out to the Black History Man for just off the dome of your head, just gave it. At first I was like, wait, are you reading this? But how would you read this? Because you didn't know this question was coming. Family, this is why you need to be signed up to the Black Secret right here. Wow.
Would you say that these sculptures look similar to the Olmec heads?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. But I have found ancient Kemetic sculptures that look even closer to Olmec heads than those.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, I guess you got to come back for that one.
Yeah, you can come back for that.
Yeah.
So, quite a few people are wanting to know about the noses and how even on these structures, it looks like the noses were defaced. Can you talk about what you think about that?
Yeah. Disagreeing with the late Runoko Rashidi, I do believe that skullduggery was responsible for the destruction of the noses. And why I believe that is I do have a photograph of one of the pharaonic statues before the nose was broken off. And if you visit that same statue today in the British Museum, it doesn't have a nose. But I've got the photograph of before when it had a nose. Do you see? And so with that particular sculpture, I can prove skullduggery happened. Now, can I prove for others? Not yet, but I believe further research will be to try to find images of the different sculptures before skullduggery happened. And then that way we can prove before, after.
Can you just explain the term skullduggery for us?
People being, what's the word? Sneaky and dishonest.
For their personal agendas.
I don't even think it's personal. I think it's collective agenda.
Gotcha.
I don't think when people are racist, they're doing it for personal reasons. I think they're doing it for collective reasons.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah, that I agree.
Now the Buddha that you showed us, what time frame would you say that is?
The images that Rashidi has, some of them are 9th century AD, 12th century AD. Yeah.
Okay.
There are images that are older, but the problem is the further back you go, some of those images have eroded.
Okay.
Yeah. But the ones with the face and the hair completely intact, those are the ones that Rashidi used.
And where would you say
but obviously the Buddha is 500 and something BC.
BC. Okay. And where would you say that Buddhism starts? Like what region?
Oh, it's definitely India.
In India. Okay.
It's definitely India. And the first place that it spreads to is Sri Lanka.
Okay. And is that an African presence as well?
Oh yeah, the population of India. I don't like to use the word, in this case, African. I like to say black presence.
Got it. Yep.
Unless we can prove that they're recently from Africa, I like to say black presence.
Gotcha.
So in India, yes, there's a massive black population. Your Dravidians, your untouchables, and so on and so forth. And similar populations exist in Sri Lanka. So complexion-wise, most Sri Lankans that I've seen are my complexion or darker.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
And there's a very splendid Buddha in an ancient Sri Lankan city called Anuradhapura with the hair intact. I mean, I don't have any hair anymore, but I used to have hair. Yeah, so the hair's intact.
Got it.
All right, that's pretty funny, Black History Man. All right, we have just two more questions right here from in the chat. King Simon wants to know: is there any connection to Egypt in Africa, to Egypt in America before the name was changed in America?
There's a theory put forward by the legendary Professor Ivan van Sertima, but not just him, about the direct connection between the Nile Valley and voyages to Olmec, Mexico. The book is called They Came Before Columbus. There's another book called Early America Revisited, where Professor Van Sertima lays out the theory. So far, it's just theory. Here's why. The Olmec heads are definitely heads of Africans, but we don't know which group of Africans. So the theory that they came from Egypt and Sudan, it's a good theory, but it's not conclusive because they could have come from anywhere, in truth. Do you see?
Yeah.
Now, Professor Van Sertima's theory is they came from Egypt. There's an Indian scholar that used to live in Britain called Rafiq Ali Jarazboy, also says that they're Egyptians and Sudanese, making that connection. But again, and he presents a huge amount of evidence, but we're not in the realm of proof, we're in the realm of speculation. The proof is some Black people got there, proof. But which group and from where is now where the speculation is involved.
Okay. So King Solomon, he's texting me about Little Egypt in Illinois. Have you heard of Little Egypt in Illinois?
No, not at all. No.
Yeah, actually, it's the first I've heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I think that's. Let me see. I think that is it. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is really good. Yeah, I do have one question. So you think the people that live now in Iran and Iraq know the history?
I suspect they do, in the same way that the modern Egyptians will know the history.
Mm.
You know, modern Egyptians try to say the ancient Egyptians weren't Black. You know that they're lying, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing is true with the people of Iran. The people of Iran will know that they are Aryans. They will know that they are conquerors, and they will know that they conquered the people that were already there. And the people that are already there would be the Elamites. Do you see?
Yeah.
Now, I have seen documentaries where they present Elamite history as just Persian history, which is nonsense. It's not just Persian history. It's the pre-civilization. Yeah. But there's no way that you can be a scholar and not know this stuff if you're from Iran.
Mm. Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Like, do they embrace it? How well the Egyptians don't embrace it, but yeah.
So last question. So Elamite history or culture ends around what time?
539 BC.
Okay, and that's due to invasions and
overthrown by the people calling themselves Iranians today.
Got it. And do we see where they disperse to? Do they disperse to different areas? Do they come back?
Yeah. In the presentation, I quoted people like Brigadier General Sykes.
Yes.
Talking about where those people are.
Yes.
People like Roland B. Dixon, where those people are. So in Iran to this day, the descendants of the black population still there.
Mm.
Just like in modern Egypt, if you want to see the real Egyptians, you have to visit the Saidis and the Nubians. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah? And you have to know to visit them.
Yes.
Same thing. If you want to see the Elamites today, you have to know which districts in modern Iran that they're at.
Got it. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for so much for carving out time. We know that it's Black History Month out there, so we know that you're working hard, and a lot of people are trying to get you to do presentations, so forth and so on. So we thank you for sharing your time with us.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure. Seriously, it's a pleasure.
Yeah. How many people do you have on your research team?
To be honest, I don't. Yeah, there is a gentleman, Emmanuel Adama, that does work for me. And I share work with other scholars and they share work with me. Do you see?
Yep.
And I read a lot. So there are people. So, for example, before putting this class together right now, I checked out the books of Finch and Rashidi and so on, making sure that I'm on my A game. But in reality, I don't have a research team.
That means you're working 24 hours a day.
But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, we can feel, well, we definitely 100% feel your love in this, because the blacksecret.com, .co.uk is very thorough. It's very thorough. Yes, so thank you. And yeah, we're going to have you come back. Yeah.
Certainly. All right. Yeah, let me know when you want to do that and what topic you want to talk about. And yeah, I'm down with it.
Yeah, that's what's up. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Felicia, do we want Robin to go in the green room while we close out?
No, you know what? He is, what time is it over there? It's like sleep time.
Absolutely.
Got it.
Yeah, it's really catch you next time. But thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, have a good one.
All right, you too.
Peace. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, then bye-bye.
Okay, peace.
All right. Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, he's very, very thorough. Very thorough, brother.
Yeah, I've never heard of Elam.
Yeah.
Like, that's wow. I just, you know what, when I thought of Elam, I thought about the hip hop artist Guru. That was his last name, Keith Elam.
Oh, was it?
So,
okay.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, let's see what this is about. This is wow. That's what's up. Yeah, family. You want to go to Black Secret. Let me see. Let me put it in here. blacksecret.co.uk. And somebody asked about the free book. When you go on there, there's a link where he's given out a free book, and you could just download it right then and there. But you should really think about the subscription, because at $23 a month, and when you go, just get it for 1 month and then see all the information you have access to, and you'll just keep subscribing, because it's really, especially if you want to deep dive in some stuff, this is where you need to go. Yeah. And also, family, I want to thank everyone for contributing to the Cash App. Listen, everything that you see on our channel, the money is repurposed back into other Black people. So it's important that you contribute. it's because everyone's talking about Dr. Banoka Rashidi. I remember he used to always say, he was like, everyone can't do everything, but everybody can do something.
Yep.
And so when we're out here just kind of trying to figure out what it is and how we want to contribute, that's a way to do it, because sometimes you can't come to, maybe a conference, or maybe you can't volunteer, or maybe you can't do some of these other things, but like supporting us with Cash App Love, anything we're appreciative of. And also, if you go ahead and make sure you are liking and sharing the video. Okay. That's another way that you can support us, and make sure you hit the notifications button.
And thank you so much for spending your time with us. That's a big deal for us, for you to actually tune in at an exact time and spend, an hour and 40 minutes, hour 45 minutes, just to learn. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Hassan and I was talking about that earlier, because we were, talking about how a lot of times, there's so many podcasts, there's so many, just so much media out there that we consume. So when you literally say, I am going to consume HAPI Talks, that's what's up. Yeah. Yep. All right, fam. You have anything else, Hassan?
No, we good. We came, we shared, we gave the people what they needed. They may not have known that they needed that, but we gave them what they needed.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, there it is. And family, you can't really see like all of our HAPI gear we have on right now, but fam, we do have that clearance sale that's happening. Just go to happyfilm.com. You can do everything. Hit the newsletter, get connected to that. You can get, yes, we still sell DVDs. So make sure you pick up the HAPI DVD, and we have the Nubia, and we have the Tekken. So it's like 3 you can get right there.
Yep.
All right. Well, then there it is, family. In the words of Professor, peace and blessings.
Peace.
I don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority. Honestly,
Who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?